Hello everyone, Tish the Lake, and today I want to share with you how to do Riwo Sangchoe, and it is going to be the Riwo Sangchoe practice that which we are all doing in daily life. And most of you have requested me several times that I give a teaching based on this Riwo Sangchoe. So today I decided to share with you this regarding Riwo Sangchoe practice. So this Riwo Sangchoe practice is a practice of cleansing puja, and it's also a kind of like a purification itself, and it has a great vast merit of doing this practice in our daily life. And this is actually called Riwo Sangchoe, which in earlier days and still in today's time, I think most of the practitioners in Himalayan regions, this is occasionally when we have something new to begin with, or something new to be started, like those kind of like new project, or some kind of the people getting married, and so those kind of events, the starting of every auspiciousness, we start with the Riwo Sangchoe practice itself, because it is contained with the cleansing of negative energy, and which are all the negative emotions that we have. And of course, if I explain briefly, I think it is very much beneficial in many ways. So of course, we have many different varieties of smoke offerings, and I'm now talking about Riwo Sangchoe, which is Lhajun Namga Jigme one. And most importantly, first, of course, we need the substances. There are so many different substances we have. The Riwo Sangchoe substances these days, we can get the packet, which is ready-made one, and which is mentioned there, Riwo Sangchoe itself. And there are some different, of course, practice we have like sur, and some different sang itself also have many different. So today this sang that we are going to practice is called Riwo Sangchoe practice, as I already mentioned. And of course, Riwo Sangchoe is actually cleansing, that which I already mentioned. Cleansing means, what kind of cleansing that we are talking about is, we have, how to say, to start or to begin with some kind of new thing. What we do in the beginning is always we do cleaning, right? So it is something like that. So this has mainly offerings. There are 4 different level of offerings are there, and which we really need to be known are, of course, firstly we do offering to 3 jewels, which are Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. Then all the gurus, lineage masters and so on, also you can consider them, because in our Vajrayana practice, of course, everything we offer to Guru, because they are considered as a, how to say, enlightened master, and they are the one who shown us the path towards the enlightenment. So therefore, as I already mentioned in the earlier teaching also, that the Gurus are Lama Sanji, Lama Chu, Teshin Lama, Gendunis. So in that way, of course, we have to do offerings also to all the Yidam, and fourthly, of course, we have to do to all the Dakas, Dakinis, and so on. So in that way, what it helps us with the offering of these substances is, it is already mentioned in the prayer book itself when you read the contents of the sang itself. So this is the Riwo Sangchoe, and the practice of Riwo Sangchoe, the Menga, the sacred instruction from Lhajun Namga Jigme, Resin Sogrup as arranged by Getul Rinpoche one, and we have actually longer version as well, and this is the shortest version that which is easily can be done by everyone. And it is mentioned here: making an auspicious fire in clean vessel of burner, burn aromatic woods, resins, medicinal plants, the 3 whites and 3 sweets substances, yogurt, milk and butter and sugar, molasses and honey, and all kinds of incense and powder, whatever you have available, and sprinkle it with the pure water. So this is now going to be how we're going to begin with it. And I would like to go through this little bit about the benefit and the joy, which is explanation of practice of sang offering. And this is, I think, the son of Getul Rinpoche have given the brief explanation here. And it is mentioned here, this as we all know, the origin of the sang offering. It is happened, of course, from Tibet. And it says that it is a Dharma king who were emanation of the lords of the 3 families. Among these, it was during the time of King Tisong Deujin, who is a Manjushri in person, and was invited to the land of snows and the glorious, spontaneously perfect, unchanging temple, which is Samye. When it was constructed at that time, on one occasion of the great Dharma king was, I think, ill. He was very ill, and it is found that when it is reported to Guru Rinpoche, and Guru Rinpoche replied back that he had a method of dispelling his sickness by doing this purifying practice, which he mentioned is clean wood was sought, and then by purifying it through the element of fire, a smoke offering was made to the deities, and after that the king was recovered. And for the benefit of future generation, the instruction of sang offering, together with the history and description of its benefits, were inscribed on the walls of glorious Samye. And this is renowned even today as a sang offering mural of Samye. From the point of text, sang offering practice appeared increasingly. And this is now mainly revealed by Lhajun Namkha Jigme, Lhajun Kunsang Namjel, or Thakdong Namkha Jigme, as he was opening the sacred hidden land of Sikkim. So this is how it was found, as it is mentioned. It says that this practice of Riwo Sangchoe, which is part of the profound Dharma cycle of Resin Sogrup, and they originated as a pure vision in the treasure-like mind of the great and accomplished Vidyadhara Lhajun Namkha Jigme. And of course, we have different sang offerings, as I have mentioned. And there is 2 different types of purification practices, which is called Nolsang and Tripsang. And it is indicated by so-called purification of the impurity of contamination. And another one is called Tripsang, is a purification of spiritual pollution or blockage, which I already mentioned in the beginning, that that some people does this burning kind of thing when people are sick, when they wear some clothes in some hotels or some places where they travel. They always use this incense. And in our Tibetan traditions, like when we have some kind of impurities, something like we are getting new clothes, or maybe how to say, somebody step on your cloth, or maybe what do we call it, you want to use a blanket that which already used by other people, and all this kind of stuffs we have, like So what people does is they will bring incense joysticks and they will just say a few kind of prayer to clear these impurities and to purify it. So we have this kind of traditions, and in modern days, especially people with so much of how to say open-minded, I think people don't really care about these things. But yes, our parents still do this practice, and some people follow, some people doesn't follow these things. And of course, I think it is all coming from the Sang itself, which is actually to clean up all the impurities. And it is also have mentioned by Guru Pema Sambhava himself that this is one of the practice. Of course, we call it like for the auspiciousness and for the increasing of our how to say our lungda, which means our strength, or something like our fortunes, those things to be prosperous and prosperity and so on, and which eventually it helps us for longevity, to be a cure from all kind of illness, to be overcome with all kind of obstacles. And there are obstacles that which we can see, there are obstacles which we cannot see, and of course all those invisible kind of obstacles. And of course there are some how to say harmness coming from our enemies, those people who really don't like you and stuff like that. This is of course how we have to practice with knowing that what is the effects that it has. And not only that, of course, it's most importantly, it is very beneficial to oneself and all mother sentient beings. That's how we have to be always how to say visualize with the dedication towards all sentient beings. It is also, of course, we have to do more proper and cleaning ways, because we are inviting like all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and all those six realms sentient beings, we are offering to them. So the mainly, of course, the substances that we are offering should be clean. It's really important. And of course during the time of practice, the container that we are burning this incense, people use so many different things to burn it, and of course it is really important if you have a nice container. And many people I have noticed they are practicing Riwo Sangchoe in evening or something like afternoon or something like that. But of course in Himalayan region this is practice is done most probably early in the morning, because what we say is early morning our energy is very clean, our channel ground, everything is very clean, and our thoughts are very clear. So whatever practice we how to say we do in the morning, it is more kind of how to say beneficial, because we are not running with so much of negativities inside of our thoughts. And also I think we are more fresh, and how to say we can do more properly. And of course there are practices which supposed to be done in the morning, there are practices some supposed to be done in the evening, like sur practice mostly does in the evening, like around 4-5 something in the evening. And sur is of course completely different with the sang, and the substance is also different. So this is also really important to be known, and you cannot just simply buy a sang powder somewhere else and you can offer it as a sur later on. That is also not the right way of doing it. So now I want to go to this prayer first, and then of course I will go explanation together. And firstly, of course, we starting with the taking refuge, which is starting like this. Om ahung kanyam sishi kyabgyun nyingbo ju wangda rezin pema tedeng sal chiguru nasi jawi chiguru dogun sile dalchiri kyabsu. Om ahung, the heart of essence of all sorts of refuge of samsara and nirvana, who are as vast as space, powerful and wrathful vidyadhara padma todeng sal. Within your body, all that appears and exists in the perfect Buddha mandala. In order to liberate all beings from samsara, I take refuge in you. So this is the starting of the Riwo Sangchoe practice. And now this one, taking refuge, you have to repeat it for 3 times. And we're going to generating bodhicitta. Sangcho yeji vesa tele dogon desum dane kodaso tuje tele lundum nangshenga shenu bumgur dorwar semje do in the ground of the luminous tickle of supremely sacred wisdom. May the 3 obscuration of all beings be purified, and with the 4 visions spontaneously perfected in the tickle of the wisdom body, speech and mind. May all beings be liberated into the youthful vast body. For this, I generate the heart and mind of bodhicitta. So therefore, every kind of practices we do, we have different kind of tamro and semje, which is refuge and generating bodhicitta. And you cannot add something differently in this practice, because this is compulsorily composed together with the refuge prayer and generating bodhicitta itself. So you have to do it in this way as it is inside the text itself. And now we're going to the 7 branches, and which is 7 aspects of the devotional practice, also we call it. Shirik maju nyumar chasa shi tingda trabe vesal chobabu korwa nyangde nyamni longdo shi loda chuse chimbo je lo hundub zokba chimbo chogo korwa dongne chokbar so de kursum mita trabe patharango. To the primordial unaltered nature of Rigpa, I pay homage. The luminosity, transcending limits and dimension, I offer in the expanse of sameness of samsara and nirvana. I confess in the great exhaustion of all dharma and beyond the ordinary mind, I rejoice. Turn the wheel of the teachings of the spontaneously perfect Dzogpa Chembu. Steer the depth of samsara, I pray. In the absolute state free of subject, object or activity, I dedicate. So this is, of course, it is really important to be known. Each content, it is described in English, and you must read it, because if you don't know how to read Tibetan, if you know how to read Tibetan, but if you don't know the meaning, I think it is really important to go through each of the sentence with the how say Tibet with the explanation, and with understanding. If you do it practice, will be more beneficial. Then now comes to the self-visualization. Kada chugu inle games pema tuden kamar shunsul ze tembese bar dorje teban zeje jenda chaje yonso tameni me jakun debeso khorde gonje chibal chembur. From the Dharmakaya space of primordial purity arising as its unobstructed play is Padma Tuding Tsal, white with the tingle of red in the full beauty of youth. In dazzling splendor with the measure of minor mug holding the baja and skull cup, majestic, complete with the ornaments and robes. Samaya Sattva and Jana Sattva, the indivisible. His form is all the Buddhas in one. The great embodiment of all samsara and nirvana. And of course you have to visualize Guru Rinpoche here, and it is particularly mentioned here is Padma Tuding, and how you should be visualizing. It is of course mentioned in the text itself. And sometimes you may have difficulties in visualizing. Of course, I always used to mention that you can visualize your Guru, that who you are truly devoted and whom you are following and considering as no separation from Guru Rinpoche, or something like that. And here is the recitation of Guru Rinpoche mantra, which is Om Ah Hom Benza Guru Pema Siddhe Hong. And it is mentioned here. It is that you have to be recited 108 times. And it is depending on your time. If you're like rushing somewhere else, you cannot really do 108 times. Maybe try to do at least like 21 times. Now coming to the purification and blessing of the Sang offering. So of course you have to have holy water, and this holy water, it is contained with all different substances of the holy water, which we call bumze. And there is bumze itself also has 25 types of medicine inside itself. And of course it should be consecrated, the holy water itself as well. And if you have somebody else like Rinpoche or some Dharma gurus around, and you can also request for holy water, and then you can mix up with your normal mineral water, and you can consider it as a holy water itself. And this holy water, now you have to sprinkle on the offering substances by reciting Ram Yam Kam. So I will just demonstrate how to do this Ram Yam Kam with the Pumpa itself. So okay, I'm going to demonstrate here is how to do the Sang itself. So this container is Sang substances that I have kept it, and as I already mentioned that it is best if you can take out from your packet, and maybe you can get this kind of container to fill your Sang substances, which is going to be more clean. You can cover it with a cap, and you can keep it in a proper place. If you have a shrine, and under the shrine there's a drawers, right? So you can keep it over there, and it is best you don't keep it somewhere you put your shoes or slippers or those kind of things. And this is the container that I'm going to make Sang. And most people are thinking that Riwo Sangchoe practice, it should be a lot of smoke, and must have a big container and so on. It is individually up to us how we want to make it. So if you want to do in your daily practice, and especially you're walking or you're doing some other things, I will just say that you can just prepare a small container like this, and maybe pour this bit of Sang substances. This is ready-made one, like this. And if you have a incense joystick like this, you just make a small piece of it like this. This is how I normally do when I am alone. Sometimes I make small fire and I do Sang, and sometimes of course we do big one, especially when I'm going pilgrimage or something like that. So this is I will just put it, this is a little longer, so this is like this, and on top of it I will put again a little bit more. And you keep the top of incense like burning like this, so when incense is burning, and the Sang will also burn itself. And if you keep it outside in the balcony, is also good, after you burn it. And once you want to pour this substance, this is the Pumpa, holy water, and this you can get in Nepal, and I don't know, maybe wherever you are, if there is any Buddhist stores where they are selling Vajrayana stuffs, you can get there. And this also, of course, we have many different size, and this is smallest size and very compact, easy to carry along. So this is how we do blessing the substance. Ram Yam Kam Om Ahum. So now purification and blessing of the sang offering. Purify the ingredients of the sang offering with, and with Ram Yam Kam. Then Tongbi Ngangle Sangze Sakpa maybe Yeshijin Duzi Duen Jasu Timbung Kachabdu Towar Angel. Out of emptiness appear the ingredients of the sang offering, transform into the wisdom nectar free of any impurity, from which arises an ocean like cloud of sensual stimulants spreading out to fill the whole of space. So this is the explanation which is given in the text itself. And bless the sang offering with the 3 syllable of mantra called Om Ahong. So this is also called sky treasury mantra. So here you have to do the mudra is like this. Firstly, you have to hold the middle finger with this thumb finger like this, and you can do like this. First you put this hand here and here like this, and this is how we do Om Ahong, Om Ahong, Om Ahong, like this. Om Ahong, Om Ahong, Om Ahong, and slowly you can practice Om Ahong, Om Ahong, Om Ahong. And this Om Ahong, when you are doing this mudra, and you have to recite 3 times Om Ahong, Om Ahong, Om Ahong. And this is we are blessing the substances. And there's a mudra comes again. Name sarva tatha gata bayo bishu mukheve sarvate kam ungande saparana ima gagana kam soha. So here you have to do like this mudra. Name sarva tatha gata bayo bishu mukheve sarvate kam ungade saparana imam gagana kam soha. So this will be a little bit difficult if you are new beginners in Vajrayana practice. And so here is how you're going to do the mudra of this Name Sarva Tathagata. Name Sarva Tathagata Bayo Besho Mukheve Sarvate Kam Ungade Saparana Ima Gagana Kam Soha. Name Sarva Tathagata Bayo Besho Mukheve Sarvate Kam Ungade Saparana Ima Gagana Kam Soha. Name Sarva Tathagata Bayo Besho Mukheve Sarvate Kam Ungade Saparana Ima Gagana Kam Soha. So this mudra, it has a name also, and the first one which we are doing like this is called Pekor. You know, you must know this is called Pekor. And whenever the Guru says you have to do Pekor, it's like this. And this is called Dothal. And this is called Segol. Pekor, Dothal, Segol. So this is, you have to understand. And this Name Sarva Tathagata Bayo Besho Mukheve Sarvate Kam Ungade Saparana Ima Gagana Kam Soha, also 3 times. And now coming to the sang offering. So this is the contents that you have to repeat for 3 times. So now sang is already, we have already blessed, already now started to burn and smoke is coming out, right? So now this sang, you can keep it in front of you if you are individually alone and want to repeat it 3 times, and some sang substances are here, you can simply put it here again. Or if you wish to put this sang outside in the balcony, and while the time of repeating comes, you can again bless it, Ram Yam Kam Mahong, like this, and again take 1 spoon, depends on container that you have, you can pour it again you can offer it for 3 times. So that's how we can do it. So now we're going to do this repetition of the song offering, which is the main the contents, or what we sentence, whatever you call it, the text, that we're going to repeat it for 3 times. So it is starting like this. So it has a melody itself, that how you should be doing it, right? So many people does in a simple way of recitation also is okay if you are individually doing without using any ritual items. Normally we use rolmo, we call it rolmo, the big this thing is called rolmo. So if there is a single person, if you're doing it, it is not compulsorily to use your ritual items. And also Vajra bell is not required. You can do without Vajra bell. So you can just recite it. Dum rinche naso dang mi ne yang su jiden sebe de go dam se ze tu sum ye shen du ze jen la be na se che be de guru te ba de lama ye dam ra ge che son dang cho jo ya we che koro che nye dang zam le shi da rin zhu len cha dun che pra da ji ce zhu su gu shi ni dong par che zong bi zhong bo da mi lam da zin nian da te ni ri te je ma rong chu zhu da bo da se da ne da no ru ji len cha jin Dibda nyo de po shin mo shin da Riwo te rang zhong sen te mor chi len cha mar bui me la jal de se rang rang yi la kang dun dun gu char ji se nam ka ne ji par ni du de be yun den se pa me pra ngu ta jin de sum san bi de dib dan kun chu de shin kuro la che ba nam Jin se me chen de ye ta ju ru je me che na se kan we du chen re kun sa che be ten bo me se ba ya we shin kam yong la cham ju ru je me che ye she wo ngai che jin se re do na me ne su cham ju ru be kam sum korwa ja le wo kurun du do go chang ju ni por Sangcho. So for example, if you are using drum and all those ritual things, then stop like this, and you can recite the syllable mantra again, which is Om Ah Hung 100 times, 1,000 times, or more, as many as you can. And again we're going back to the repetition, right? But first, of course, we have to continuously reciting with the conclusion itself. And I would like to read it again one more time in English itself, which we have begun with the Dum Rinchen Naso. Broom in the vast, lustrous vessel made of the essence of various jewels. The samaya substances, all the desirable objects, worldly existence are transformed into the nectar of wisdom through the blessings of the 3-seed syllable Om Ah Hung, so that all that appears and exists becomes an offering for all that is desirable. These I offer to lamas, yidams, dakinis, dharmapalas. So this is the main parts where actually we are offering it. So it is really important to read each explanation which is described here in the text, which is written in English. You must read it. All the mandalas of the Buddhas of the 10 directions, to the local deities of the world, beings of the 6 realms, and the guests to whom I own karmic debt, and especially to those who would steal my life and deplete my life force, to the malicious jumbo demons of the inflict sickness and obstacles, bad signs in the dreams, and all types of evil omens, the 8 classes of negative spirits, the masters of magical illusions, and those to whom I owe karmic debt of food, place, and wealth, to forces that bring obscuration and madness to the shades of man and human dead, to all the spirit, therangs, ghosts, and female ghosts, Now all my karmic debts are paid. Burn these scarlet flames. Whatever each one desires, may the objects of their desire rain down. For as far and as long as space exists, I dedicate an inexhaustible amount of sensual stimulants. May my negative actions and obscurations accumulated in past, present, and future, and misuse of the offering made to the three jewels in devotion and for the dead, be purified in the fire of Sang offering. Let its flames fill the entire universe, and every minute particle of flame become an inexhaustible cloud of offerings like Samantha Bhadras, pervading throughout all the Buddha realms. May these flames offering rays of five-colored light of wisdom pervade throughout the 6 classes of beings down to the abyssal hells. The 3 realms of samsara be liberated into the rainbow body, and all sentient beings awaken into the heart of enlightenment. So we can see the meaning. It is not something invented by some new person again. I would say that because it is already given all the instruction here. Especially these contents, it is very important to be read and to be understood. And when we do it, it is very different. It will be more beneficial. So in this way, you really have to read each contents as I mentioned, and now it's the conclusion part, and which is not really a conclusion at the moment because we have to recite it the same thing again for the 3 times. Kusum Takpa Ne Je Sha Yesu. Again the melody is same. Kusum Takpa Ne Je Sha Yesu. Chelon Trusum Na Se Sopo Nam De Zere Shuven Ja Yen Pananka Korwa Nyang De Sa Men De Zeche Tomen Du Ne Ta Ta Yen Che Do Nasi Dun Dun Jurum Ba Yong La Ngo Salam Te Bo Yen Ten Tar Shen Shen Ta Gom Che Pe Para Che Kun Sa Ne Me Jung Kun Sa Tu Je Ka Yin Su Shen Nu Bum Guru Ten Se Sen Barash Kor Ben Ja Su Chen Bo Tong Be Tar Ho Men Pe Ma Ta Wara Sang Je Shu Pong Gam Se Ze Ta Da Se Je Bar Kan Mar Chang Sem Se Ze De Tong Ba Dong Ni Nin Je Se Ze Chue Yen Kang Nang Si Kor De Du Run Je Ho Nga Shi Lun Zhe Zhou Sang Je Be Se Se Po Nguen Je Len Cha Tam Je Chang Ju Je Ta Dan Ju La Me Nen To Lo Sha Ma Wo De Ben Kor Lo Ro Ma Ju Je So Da Ra Chang Sim Re Ba Zen Ba Domje La Ba Sa Nga Nam Se Re Chor Da Ma Sor Nyam Ba To Lo Shi Ne Den Che Da Me Zang Da Ju Chi Ne Mo Chuen Ji Ka Ba Shi Ju Chi. So when you are continuously reading in this melody, you following up in a way I have recited the melody, and when it comes to this part, Ne Mo Chuen Ji Ka Ba Shi Ju Chi, so you have fold your hand like this already. And Tami Visu Wong We Sima Do Cheze Lama Den Den Parche Peyo Tami Shin Be Tenyen Do Salun Jabu So Ende Bad Jigba Chenbu Je Dan Chutung Do Daja Kane Tami Shebad Tamse Gongbo Tu Do Neba Do. So this is how you should be doing it. And of course it is really important to read in English again as your information, because if you are doing Sang regularly, maybe you are reading only Tibetan but you are not really reading all those explanation given in English language. All is purified into the 3 kayas, the environment and heavenly palace, where Dharma kaya, Sambhoga kaya and Nirmana kaya form and aggregates the phenomenal existence, melt into nectar, flooding in the whole expanse of the sky with rainbow light. Samsara is liberated into nirvana in essence of immaculate nectar. I share with all those who, from beginningless time until now, have been guests in my worldly existence, having attained all the noble qualities of the stage, path, and fruition, and dispel all obstacles in view, meditation, and action within the sky like a space of Samandabhadra, wondrous wisdom mind. May we seize the stronghold of the youthful vast body, and when at last the great ocean of samsara is emptied, may all beings attain Buddhahood in the lotus net of Akhanishta. The sung offering of the aggregates and elements blast in vivid, brilliant splendor. The sung offering of red and white bodhicitta blaze in bliss and emptiness. The sung offering of emptiness and compassion fill the Dharma Dhatu, open the ground of five-colored Vajra light of phenomenal existence, samsara and nirvana. I offer the sung offering to the spontaneously accomplished perfect Buddhahood. May all my karmic debts from the past be purified. In the present, so they do not remain in my minute stream, I confess them. And in the future, may I never be drowned into the wheel of obscuration. All impairments of the vows of individual liberation, bodhisattva precepts, and samayas of the Vidyadharas, conscious of unwitting, I openly admit, may illness, harmful influences, obscurations, and impurities be purified. May this age of plague, famine, warfare be pacified. And now the clapping hand part, which is the meaning is like this. May the attack of invaders be repelled. May obscuration forces that causes the spiritual teacher to depart be averted. So in this way you have to do it. May inauspicious bad omens for the whole world and the land of Tibet be averted. And this, of course, in the past, of course, there are so many things happening in the Tibet, I believe. So now, of course, we are all living in this world, in different countries, and all connected to Dharma. So, of course, you can be recited in this way by thinking of the whole world itself. Salut Jalbo so Udibado. May the planetary forces, nagas, and arrogant king like spirits who cut short the breath of life be repelled. May the 8 great fears and 16 lesser fears overcome for me and all those around me. May all that is inauspicious be averted. May the power and strength of Samaya breaker and Gombo demons be averted. So in this way you have to, again, from this part, Tamse Gongbo to and again you have to go repeat to from the content which we have recited, right? And then Rum Rinche Naso Dame Nuyaso Jide Sebe Gu Damse. And you can again recite, and there is a part where you have to do recitation of Om Ah Hung, Om Ah Hung, and then little bit of sung. You can again prepare it, do this, and you can again offer it in the fire, whatever you have prepared, the incense burner. You can put a little bit of it, and you have to recite it for 3 times. And some people nowadays, of course, they like to make different melodies, So it is not how you can make a best melody you can. I think this is best to follow up. If you are someone, especially following me, especially following Nyingma traditions, of course we are doing in this way of melody. So when you are participating in some kind of activity where we are having smoke puja, or sometime the time comes you need to be lead this prayer or this smoke offering, and if you do it in some funny way, people may notice that you maybe know how to do it, but the melody is not right. So that's why it is really important to be known this melody, because sometimes we don't really do this, because sometimes I'm in rush, like I'm doing in my memorize. I have memorized this song oftenly. I'm doing it, so that's why I have memorized it. So when I'm doing it alone myself without using or ritual items, then of course I can just simply treat it like like this, just reading like this. But if you are doing it in a group, maybe more than 1 or 2 people, then I think if you do it in this way, slow with the melody, it is really helpful in many ways. Prayer will be more beneficial with proper pronunciation, and of course there is a high chances that when you do it in a slow and proper, and you will easily memorize it. And some people think that, oh, I'm too old to memorize texts, oh, I am not, my wisdom is not good, I'm not sharp, or something like that. If you do it full of devotion and full of visualizations and full of mindfulness, in any kind of practices you do, there is some kind of miracle again happens, that you can really capture the content of all the texts. You can memorize, you will be able to memorize it. So now you have already done the repetition of 3 times, okay? You have already done the 3 times of repetition, and at this moment now, in my way of doing, when I'm doing it myself, I normally add here, after 3 times of recitation, I add here a Mahakala prayer here, Mahakala offering here. And Mahakala prayer, I have a very short version, which is Ram Yam Kam Om Ahong Keji Tenzo Random Tuji Dumji Kabala Inondo. And I'm doing it because we have received the empowerment. So if you are someone who haven't received the empowerment and you still want to do it, I think it is not the right way of doing it, unless if you have right empowerment to do these practices. So anyhow, Riwo Sangchoe itself also, of course, if you have received the oral transmission, would be nice. And this is practiced by many lay people also, lay practitioners also around the Himalayan regions. If you go to like Nepal, like in India, northern part of India, or like you go to holy places like Chobema or somewhere like that, most of the practitioners in the early morning, what you can see around everywhere is burning incense. A lot of smoke coming out from their house, their terrace. Most of the house of the Tibetan people, they have especially one kind of place, to make this smoke offering. They make it. And in the beginning of the Losar, when we start New Year also, the 3rd day of New Year, especially we do Sang offering, because to begin with the New Year and so on. And of course, when some people want to start their business, they want to do the opening, also we perform Sang puja. And some wedding, for example, like couples are getting married, getting engaged, and they have invited some Rinpoche or some Lama or someone to do some prayers or blessings, definitely they do this Riwo Sangchoe. And this Riwo Sangchoe is very beneficial, as it is mentioned in each content itself. It is the meanings are there. And the right way of doing is, I already mentioned in the beginning, that you should be doing in the morning is the best. And when you are doing it, of course, try to make everything clean. Most importantly, the containers, like already I have mentioned, you must put your incense substances, everything clean is really important, because many people don't really bother staying somewhere else, and the packet of the incense powder are filled with image of Buddha, Guru Rinpoche, or some mantra, something like that. I don't know why they produce in this way, because maybe people will be more attracted to buy the substances maybe these days because of the image and so on, or maybe some branding they want to make, so because of those reasons. So what you can do is, those kind of substances or whatever, please I will say that burn it. You burn all those package. Don't just simply throw it in garbage or something like that, because this eventually will bring you some negative karma for sure, because sometimes there is an image, sometimes there is a mantra, sometimes the content of explanation given there about the Sang substances are also a word of Dharma. whether it is in English or Tibetan, because in our tradition we are taught from very young age that so this two line describes that after 500 years later I will come in a form of words. This is mentioned by Buddha, we say like that. So we respect every single word of Tibetan words, and of course when this is already printed in our mind from very young, so we respect very much these Tibetan words, whether it is a magazine or some kind of newspaper or something like that which has Tibetan letter, we don't simply throw it. But now, of course, grown up myself and realizing that Dharma is coming in different language, so therefore I think it is not just only a Tibetan word, but I think we should be respecting the word which is contained with the Dharma. So those things we must respect them. These are the word of Buddha. These are the word of Bodhisattva. In this way, we must respect them. Even when it is described in the teaching of taking refuge under three jewels, what we call Chamdo. So, of course, Lama la Japsu, Sangye la Japsu, Cho la Japsu, Gindu la Japsu. So, Chö meaning is those Dharma is actually the Buddha's teaching, right? So, it is mentioned that Higi na Hinchelaya, we have to consider even the syllable na as a like a dharma. So therefore we really have to take care of all these things. So this is how you should be doing it, because I have noticed many people are not really careful with these things, and they think that rubbish, these are rubbish, so you simply throw it outside. Oh, this is offering all substances for Buddha, not my business, But how we as a human being prefer? We want nice plate to have food. We don't prefer plate with some kind of dirt there, right? Of course, we prefer to have a plate. If you are served in some restaurant in gold plate, you will of course you may reject it if you are a person that doesn't really care. But if you are a person who really loves to be luxurious kind of standards that provided to be experienced, then of course you will enjoy it. So in this way we really have to make every substances of offering or any kind of things, try to make it best as you can. Because these days many people, of course, when we are talking about the containers, why we have to make so much grand offering with silver, with gold and stuff like that. Of course it is a right way of thinking that it is not really important, but yes, as an offering, as much as we can make grand and nice, if you are someone who can afford it, then of course you can make the best offerings. So that's how it is. And Riwo Sangchoe practice, as I already mentioned, in my understanding, I think this is really important practice, because I always used to tell my Dharma devotees, when I heard like Jamji Chandra Rinpoche, who is one of the great practitioners of our time, and Rinpoche used to practice this every morning. So I believe this is not a simple kind of practice that you should be doing it. I think you should really do it, especially we are ordinary human being, and we have lots of things to deal with, and this prayer is perfect in many ways for overcoming obstacles, for the fulfillment of your wishes, and of course for the purification of your all karmic debts and stuff like that, whatever it is mentioned here. And now coming to the ending part, here is a dedication prayer that which you have to do, and it is like this. Jawa chebe nyejurje tamjen todam kongjurje rigduk deba tsimjurje lencha shagun changjurje choni yongso jojurje dimni pacha tajurje tamba kuni tobjurje. May all the Buddhas of the pleased with the offering, pleased with this offering, May the solemn promise of the protectors be fulfilled. May the wishes of 6 classes of the beings be satisfied. May the enmity of karmic debtors be assuaged. May we complete the accumulation of merit and wisdom. May we purify cognitive and emotional defilement and karmic traces. May we attain the Dharmakaya and Rupakaya for the benefit of self and others. Simdha Getul Rinpoche. So this 4 line of this prayer, you can pick this 4 line from this Riwo Sangchoe prayer, and this 4 line can be used anywhere, especially when you are doing some generosity practice. For example, you have seen somebody else is doing this generosity practice, and with rejoice also you can say this Simdha Getul Rinpoche. Or when you do it, some kind of generosity practice. Through the power of the vast act of generosity, may we spontaneously attain Buddhahood for the benefit of beings. All those who were not liberated by the Buddhas of the past, through this act of generosity, may they be liberated. So these 4 lines, if you are someone who is really considering doing generosity practice, or maybe rejoicing about someone is doing generosity practice, not being jealous of it, then you can note this 4 line prayer somewhere else separately. And most, of course, the easiest way is select it and copy and paste it in somewhere else, so you can use it. Then of course the next content is like this. Jungbo khanda denil hajur dam sam yende panang ke janu kego namla tado jam ninda sendo chola chobar shos. And this also can be used as a dedication prayer in other prayers, whatever you're doing in your life, all those daily practices. Some people are thinking, oh, this is the package came with the Riwo Sangchoe, now I shouldn't be using it in some other practice or something like that. It is not like that. This dedication are general, but this is composed together with this Riwo Sangchoe, but this also can be used in some different practices. And this is like this: may all the spirits gather in this place, be it in the earth or in the water or in the sky, always show goodwill and kindness to all beings and practice Dharma day and night. And of course this is very important content. This sentence also you can use it in some different ways. So this is how we do it. And and this one, through the positivity and merit of this, may all beings complete the accumulation of merit and wisdom, and from this merit and wisdom may they attain the Dharmakaya and Rupakaya and benefit of self and others. And this is dedication. This also 4 line can be used differently, separately, with some different activities that you do in your life, especially those virtuous actions that you do, and you are looking for some dedication prayer. Yeah, most of the people in general are doing Sonam De Thamje Sibani. This is, when I'm having some prayer or some kind of gathering, especially when I'm traveling, people are very quiet. So when it comes to the dedication, when it comes to the part where we are going to do Sonam De, people are all very loud. Oh, Sonam De Thamje, everybody they know how to do it. But dedication prayer itself also have so many we have, and of course this is not the ending part of dedication itself, but this also can add in together before doing Sonam De Thamje Sibani. You can add all these prayers like Gyewa De Gyewa Sonam Mishe, so the Sonam Mishe the Tambakuni Tabarshu, through the positivity and merit of this, may all beings complete the accumulation of merit and wisdom, and from this merit and wisdom may they attain the Dharmakaya and Rupakaya and benefit all sentient beings. And this 4 line also can be used in some different conclusion of your practices. For example, you are looking for 4 line kind of tashi, which we are calling for the auspiciousness, that we have the conclusion of auspiciousness prayer that we have. You can use like Tambala Sangcho Rinpoche is generally we use for what? Food offering, right? and you just need to change the ending line, you know. Tembalame Sanji Rumburji, Chobalame, Tamje Rumburji, Tembalame, Ginde Rumburji, Kamne Kunju Sumji Tashi shows, you know, like this. And similarly, this one is also going like this. Bedang Zolwe Mage ba Ishin Nervo Pasam, Semje Reva Kon Sambadu, Tashi, untainted by the effort and exertion, a wish fulfilling jewel, a wish granting trees. May I fulfill the hopes of sentient beings, and may all be auspicious to accomplish their desires. And this is also can be used as a conclusion, auspiciousness prayer, you know, anywhere, wherever, whatever virtuous actions you do. And most importantly, of course, this content has said, may I fulfill the hopes of sentient beings and stuff like that. The practice itself is really important. Practice itself is about putting effort. Like I always used to tell my Dharma friends, you know, when we are asking for something else, like for Zambala practice, Tara practice, all those practices that which we are doing for our wish fulfilling and stuff like that, we also must work hard. If you are working, if you are not finding job, if you are having difficulties, and you cannot simply stay at home just recite prayer, it doesn't help in that way. Most importantly, you should be doing prayer. At the same time, you also look for the opportunities. And when you are looking for opportunities, if somebody is asking you for come for interview, for example, the person who is interviewing you, you can also think of him as a Guru Rinpoche. You know, in that way you have to visualize. You know, like for if you are selling something else to somebody else, for example, and the people who is coming towards you to buy things because you are expecting some business, for example, as a lay practitioner, and of course you can think of this person that who is coming towards you to buy something else is none other than Zambala, none other than Guru Rinpoche or something like that. You have to think in that way. You have to make everything very positive. In my experience also, whenever I'm traveling, sometimes like some countries are very much strict towards the, especially like us, like wearing monk robe and different look, especially, you know. So I always think of Guru Rinpoche, and sometimes the immigration officers also, I visualize them as a Guru Rinpoche. And when they have asked me some questions or something like that, in some way with the prayers, it does helps. So this may sound crazy, but this is the way of Vajrayana, how we should be dealing with situations, with all kind of visualizations, not only while we are sitting in shrine room and meditating it, but when we are actually facing some situations, we must visualize Guru Rinpoche all the time. And in that way, the situation gets better. That is the response of our prayers and blessings. That's how we have to appreciate it. Sometimes we are forgetful, you know, we get some chances or opportunity through somebody else, something else, some situation pops up, but we never appreciate it in thanking our Buddhas, Bodhisattvas for giving this opportunity. But we think that, oh, because I'm being smart, I'm being lucky one, you know, things went well or something like that. All the things that happening towards us in our daily life, all the good things is happening is also because of our karma. And of course, those good things you have to appreciate as blessings. Whatever bad thing happening in our life, we must take it as a opportunity also to learn something else from these bad situations. And these bad situations are caused by what? And how I should be more careful, how I should be more strong to deal with these situations. And all these things are happening to us is a time that where we should be applying Dharma in daily life. And this is what, in my own experience, I'm just explaining to you. And it may sound crazy, and in Vajrayana, everything is visualizations, as I already mentioned. And of course, today is about Riwo Sangchoe practice. And in the beginning, I haven't mentioned one thing is, nowadays Riwo Sangchoe this substances, also we can get joystick, incense joysticks like this, and you can also use that and just simply burn it, and that also you can consider Riwo Sangchoe's proper way of doing it. And while you are doing it, if something suddenly dropped, suddenly rainbow appeared, suddenly earthquake came, for example, this you cannot blame. Oh, I started doing this practice, I have these obstacles. I started doing this practice, I had a bad dream, and so on. This is very superstitious, and this is not happened to any those kind of practitioner who is genuinely practicing for a long time. All those things are created by our mind. What happens when you watch ghost movie, for example. You have watched very thriller movie. After you watch this movie, like in the midnight, if there is some movements by cat or dog or something like this, you hear some kind of sound, the fear comes to us that there's somebody else. And there are a story that people who is very scared and hearing somebody is breathing and not realizing that actually he is hearing his own breath sound. So in that way also, like sometimes we are panic and we are scared. So this is just an example I'm saying. So all the ritual, all the practice, whatever you do it in best way is doing in a correct way, correct instruction, and do not misuse these prayers by teaching other people's. If you don't have right to do it, try to ask these questions to those who are available in your surroundings, especially like some Khenpos, Lamas, Rinpoches, whoever you are connected with. That's the best thing you can do it. And when you teach some other people, what happens is, maybe you have heard about this practice from somebody else, and this person is learning from somebody else. If the mixture of learning goes to somebody else, this will lead misunderstanding again. And most importantly, you have to follow the instruction of particular guru that you are following, and particular lineage, particular tradition that you are following is really important. And you cannot go to two doctors that you are having headache, and one doctor may give you different prescriptions. This doctor will give you different prescription to cure your illness. So same goes in our Dharma learning also. And for example, today you get these informations, whatever I have explained. I'm explaining through text, I'm explaining through my own way of doing it, my own experience. But some may not do it in this way, So this is just saying it, but most generally, the way of doing Riwo Sangchoe is same, I believe. So, however, even in our region, like Himalayan region, for example, Nepal and Tibet, there are so much difference in doing so many things. For example, Dharma, the preparation of offerings, the way we're doing it, there are so much difference. So that's why, of course, the most important is when you're learning it, it is really important to go to the root text itself and read it yourself. And this is like you receiving it from me as a teaching is also a blessing itself, if you take it as a blessing. And of course, if you practice it with the confidence that, okay, now I got the teachings of this Riwo Sangchoe from this particular Rinpoche, and I will make a commitment to do every day. If you can, if you cannot do every day, try to do at least on the Guru Rinpoche day, 15th of full moon day, 25th of Dakini day, 29th of Dharmapala day. You can do it. It is not mentioned in any text that on Dharmapala day you cannot do sang offering, oh Buddha Shakyamuni, you cannot do this. You must know the root of all the texts is Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. Root of every practice. There is none any other practices that we don't start with the homage to three jewels. So this is really important to be known. And I hope that this today's section will be beneficial to all of you. And if you have any personal questions or some kind of doubts that you have, please leave below a comment and drop us a message in our Ujin Pema official Facebook. Thank you very much. And touch the lip.